Hello everyone, I'm doing more testing for a Taiko Japanese drumming collaboration at the Northwest Children's Theatre. So my goal has been to set up 4 audio inputs to receive 4 Japanese drums at the same time and feed them into Geopix so that we can have our light racks show each drum separately. The challenge with doing that is the drums very loud, so we can't use normal microphones because it would have too much bleed or overlap from one drum to another. So my solution is over here. These are contact microphones, and they will stick onto the drum. You peel off this adhesive, it's only $10 apart for the microphone, and this will listen to the vibration instead of the air pressure changes, so it will be less triggered from other drums that are not directly touching this red circle. The challenge is also that the drums move around, so you can't really have any wires on the floor. So I bought cheap guitar wireless instrument transmitters and receivers. So I have some receivers plugged into a Dante audio interface that has 4 channels of input. So right now I've got one connected. This is number 1 right here. And it's a little bit awkward because these are cheap and they're not professional systems. So there's a little bit of interference, especially when you bring them together. But I have set up separate channels on each transmitter, I think. But I would like to try another brand that allows you to set up separate channels on both the transmitter and the receiver so that they match. Channel 1 will be for drum 1, channel 2 for drum 2, and so forth. But it sort of works, it's just not reliable. I don't trust it for the event itself, but for testing, it's okay. So let's have a look. As you can see, if I tap number 1, in Geopix I have it feeding a audio device number 2. Don't worry about the numbering right now, it's just separate audio devices in Geopix for each drum. So let's try setting up number 2. So the best way it seems to be to start with the transmitter. So that's plugged into the audio interface right now. I'm going to slide the switch. It's a little bit difficult to see. Move this a little bit so you can see what's going on. So this is number 1 and number 2. I put on the switch and it's not flashing. That means it's waiting to connect. I'm going to turn on number 2. and it stopped flashing on the receiver, which means it's now connected. So I'm now going to tap the contact microphone number 2. And good news, if we look over on Geopix, I'm tapping number 2. Now I'm tapping number 1. So what's really cool is, they're right next to each other. I'm obviously making noise when I tap them, but they're not picking up each other. They're very separate. So if I use my left hand for 1 and my right hand for 2 and drum out a rhythm, very clear, device 1 is separate from device 2, or drum 1 will be separate from drum 2. So 5 or 2 gets a little bit awkward with 3 and 4. It's kind of disconnecting a little bit, but let's try, see what happens. I'm pretty sure it's this one. Yep, number 3 over here. It's the same thing. I've already set up the channels. You don't need to change the channel. Gonna flash. I'm gonna turn this one on. And now they're connected. And now connected. Try to move it over. Okay. So let's see. Number 3 connected wirelessly. And yes, it's working. So I'm hitting number 3, number 2, number 1. Excellent. The number 4 is going to be pushing it a little bit. It might work, it might not, but the problem is with the cable. I have a splitter cable, red and black, and it's not working well. It's not separating 3 and 4. 3 and 4 become 1. So I've ordered a different one, which I'll test when it arrives next week. Anyways, so right now it's working. Will it work when we're there? Will it work when we're further away? I don't know. It's a little bit, makes me nervous. I have asked Pro Sound and Lighting rental company how much it will cost to rent a professional system, which is about, when you buy them, they're like $600 each. These are $40, $50 each. It's a very big price difference. So there's not much more to see. It's just a test right now. But I've done a little bit of merging and splitting of the different signals. If you ignore number 4, the column at the end, and we just focus on this output here. So tapping number 1, number 2, number 3. And that is 4-channel into Geopix. Also want to show you how I'm setting up. So I'm using Dante, and I'm using Dante virtual, I'm going to switch camera. I'm using Dante virtual sound card instead of VL, because VL is more for left and right, but right now we need 1, 2, 3, 4 and more later audio channels. So make sure you start that at the beginning before you open things. I'm just using 8x8 for now, which is fine. I could do it on a 4x4 if I wanted to. But now if we look at Dante controller, very important that on the computer that's running Geopix, if it's a PC, I think it's same on a Mac, we need to make sure that computer in Dante controller is set to 48,000 hertz, I think is the sample rate. And that is important because it matches the sample rate of the of this unit. So if you don't select that option, it might give you a red blacked out sign and not connect. And the yellow message will say that there's a sample mismatch. Oh, go back to here. So again, I'm going to show you, double click on the computer, go to device config, set the sample rate to 48,000 for this setup. And what's cool is you can also double check without going into Geopix, and you'll see it's picking up those little green speaker icon. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's a little bit about how the Dante is set up. Now let's go back to the settings in Geopix. So we set up, just so you can see here, there's the audio interface on the right column, and 1, 2, 3, 4 are set up to 1, 2, 3, 4 for Dante virtual sound card, 8 channels of audio. So if I go to set up Geopix, this is how I've had to do it. In preferences, audio input. So I've had a weird bug where audio device number 1 was just playing a music file and it will not listen to my audio input. I think I just have to update Geopix and it will fix that. But my workaround right now is just to use 2, 3, 4, and 5 for the audio device input. So imagine that, on 2, but it's really supposed to be number 1. But audio device 2, I'm using ASIO. I've selected Dante virtual sound card, and this is important here. Sometimes this drop-down menu will not work, and it will not show you the available, in this case, 8 inputs of audio. So what I've actually done is, copy paste this text here, which is 1 semicolon Dante underscore RX underscore 1. So if I copy paste that and just change it to 2, 2, 3, 3, and so forth, and then you can start building your macros in Geopix. And I'm just having to think how I'm going to approach this. Right now I put everything into one giant macro, but that's never really the best approach in Geopix. So what I will do is create a separate macro for each channel, and then put in some more flexible changes into those macros. So really I'm going to make one macro for one audio input and do all my work that way. And then I'm going to copy and paste that 4 times and change the input of the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th to match the audio device 2, 3, 4. So that is my plan. Going to summarize. That was a long video. Upload this to YouTube. I hope this helps everyone understand better some of the technical thoughts behind the process. Thank you. Catch you later.